I'm gonna do this video over because there's no real reason for me to get all excited and jump up and down, because I already know what it is. I already know that this whole situation is not going to change because white men don't learn. It's like I have a bad enough time trying to get young black men to be about their Second Amendment. But when it comes to old white men, it's like you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And there's too much that's baked into that white identity, that white male identity, that is just resistant to the notion of black men being armed. Black men being armed is a threat. It undermines, at the end of the day, the whole system of white supremacy. And there's a lot of white men that are in the gun community that's how they feel. There is truth to the aspect of the left saying that there's a lot of white supremacists in the Second Amendment pro-gun community. There are. We saw them in Charlottesville. But by the same token, it's intellectually dishonest the way that they tried to paint that Virginia rally as though it was nothing but a bunch of white supremacists. Hell, I forget who put it out there, but some politician put it out there basically saying that the Ku Klux Klan was not welcome. Because, see, that's somebody that has a high EQ and recognizes the optics of what the left would try to do. But the left went on it, they went about it anyway, because the one thing that the pro Second Amendment white male community continues to fail to do is include minorities and make minorities a strong presence in their pro Second Amendment rallies. They always fail to do that. They barely scratch the surface when it comes to tokenism. I see high impact videos. He put the two black guys up there. I seen that one guy with the Black Lives Matter t-shirt, the light skinned black dude. The other black guy that was there, that was I didn't see him before. And then there was an older black guy, and that's it. I've seen 3 black people total out of how many white people that were there? 22,000, 16,000, whatever numbers people are throwing around, which you always know is going to be up for dispute, right? But it's like, I say again, where were the pink pistols? Why didn't the people who set up this whole pro-gun rally go and find LGBT people and say, hey, we need you to be here. We need a good chunk of y'all, at least 10 of y'all, that you could take up the whole, the whole pan, what do you call that shit? The whole, the screen, the panoramic view of a screenshot, from a camera, at least from 15 feet away, where everybody standing in the front row of that line is in the LGBT community. I say again, where was the outreach to the Black Panthers? Hey, Black Panthers, we don't agree on a lot of shit, right? You probably can't stand us. We can't stand you. You want to protect yourself from us. We want to protect ourselves from you, right? Even though it's not a two-way street, but let white people tell it's a two-way street. But I'm saying, again, hey, Black Panther brother, we come together, because we both support the Second Amendment. That's why I didn't understand about them Black Panthers down there in Georgia when it came to Stacey Abrams, and they sitting out there in front of a Stacey Abrams, holding up a Stacey Abrams sign, and Stacey Abrams was rabidly anti-Second Amendment, and here these brothers are standing there with a bunch of guns, non-critical thinking. So in some aspects, I guess, there's a lot of black men that are just as bad. It's like you get the ones that you can't get involved in the Second Amendment, and then you get the other ones that, they're a part of the Second Amendment, and then they vote against their own interest. Makes no sense. Where were the white women that are all about, anti-raping, and rape culture and all that other stuff, and women should have the ability to defend themselves? Like, you mean you couldn't tell me, you couldn't find me one group of white women that would have showed up at the rally in mass and put them in front of the cameras? Look, we have women that support this. Minority women, I didn't see any minority women, no Asian women, no black women, no Hispanic women. Y'all fucking up. Y'all don't know how to play the game. Y'all don't know the optics of it. Like I said before, the smartest thing that the NRA did was get Coley on the wire because, the left does not want to be caught attacking him. They also don't want to bring attention to him, which would have black people be like, well, who's this guy? That's why John Oliver didn't address Coleon Noir when he did his little skit in the NRA. Talked about Dana Lash all day. Talked about Wayne LaPierre all day. Completely ignored the most popular person that was affiliated with the NRA through Ackerman and McQueen, which was Coleon Noir. Completely ignored him. And that shit was done intentionally. But again, instead of, outreaching, the white pro-gun community just sits there and is like, well, whatever minority people show up, they show up. That's not good enough. You got to face the reality of the fact that it's not just a figment of black people's imaginations as to why they don't feel comfortable in a white pro Second Amendment rally and whatnot. There's a lot of bigotry that exists in the gun community, and there's a lot of pro Second Amendment white people that are in denial about that shit. They got the 3%ers out there, the Oath Keepers out there, the sovereign citizens out there, all those militia groups and everything. And there's all this sorts of mix of people. They don't care for black people. They ain't got no black friends. They don't live in black counties. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that they think about black people is what they see on the 6 o'clock news when it's Ray Ray and Pookie and everything else. And black people know when you're pandering, just like, High Impact Videos, did his little pandering with the two black guys that he was interviewing, all the pro Second Amendment, this, that, and the third. But, in many other instances, it'll be about, thugs and black guys and inner city this. And there's a lot of conflating that goes on. We know that we have a problem with inner city violence. We also talk about the aspects of jobs and economic opportunities, and nobody wants to talk about that. Just like I say, when it came to the crack epidemic, it was just a bunch of lazy niggers. But now that it's freaking white kids with opioids, no, they're not lazy. Addiction is a disease, and they need help, and they need treatment and understanding, and we need treatment centers, and we need support, and we need resources to be allocated to help our precious white children get off these drugs. But when it came to black people, when they was on crack cocaine in the 80s and the 90s, it was lock them niggas up. That's what it was. Lock them niggas up. So black people don't forget that shit. White people are the ones that got short memories. White people are the ones that'll sit there and oh, black guy, come fight our wars with us. And then as soon as they get back, all of a sudden it's nigger get to the back of the bus. It's like, hey man, I was just over there fighting. Get to the back of the bus. Comply, Negro, comply. All that bullshit. That's why I say black people don't need to be serving in the military, but that's a whole different conversation, because white folks got short memories. But y'all gotta do a better job, man. Y'all gotta do an outreach program. You gotta make it a point. You're not gonna get people who feel unwelcomed in a particular environment. You're not going to get them to suddenly muster up the courage to just start showing up. You got to get on camera and you got to be like, hey, you are more than welcome down here. We need you down here, brother. You know what I mean? Say all that flowery stuff and whatnot. Do a little bit of man stroking. We need you, brothers. Brothers are our brothers in arms. Yeah, talk that shit. But see, you ain't gonna get anybody coming down there when you sitting there and you're being intellectually dishonest, and you're gonna act like Colin Kaepernick is taking a knee because he's disrespecting the soldiers when black Americans have shed blood for this country when they weren't even allowed to be full-fledged American citizens. But Colin Kaepernick is disrespecting the troops. Yeah, black people feel some type of way about that. They know that shit is loaded and baked with racism and white supremacy in it. That's why they don't fuck with you. There's a lot of black people that are on some, whatever laws are passed, I'm gonna have my shit. I just wish they saw the foresight of like, yeah, but you ain't gonna be able to get it later on. You know what I'm saying? Pookie and Ray Ray got their shit. You got that one guy that's like, I have a gun. He's got one freaking Smith & Wesson 509 or whatever that old ass Miami Vice looking gun is, with a box of half used ammunition. He's got like 35 rounds of ammunition, and he thinks he's stocked up and ready to go to war if some shit popped off. I'm like, oh, looking like looking like what was that black guy's name in Left 4 Dead? You know, the one with the tie. You know, the one that looked like he just left the corporate office. What was his name? Lance or some shit? What was his name? What was the black guy's name in Left 4 Dead 2? You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, that black guy. That educated lame black guy who's got one old ass Beretta 92 with no rail and a half-eaten box of freaking 9mm that he bought, you know, back in 1997. You know, just ridiculous. You know, y'all don't do a good job, man. I'm talking to white men. I already made my video about black men. Y'all don't do a good job, man. I mean, y'all got to reach across the aisle. I mean, you know how much of an impenetrable fortress that would be if you had some of those bearded tier 1 operating looking white men that, you know, that are a bunch of hillbillies and rednecks, and they got their plate carriers and everything, and they got their AR-15s, and they do a photo op with the Black Panthers saying we may not agree on everything, but we agree on the Second Amendment. If they could come together just to take a photo op with that shit, you know how powerful of imagery that would be? You know what I'm saying? Both sides could be feeling however they feel. Man, I don't fuck with these crackers, man. White people, I don't fuck with these niggas. They could be saying that, but in front of the cameras, you do your song and dance, goddammit. You do your little tap dance for the fucking cameras. Damn. You get the LGBT, see, we're not homophobes. You get the transgender up there, get a fucking man in a goddamn dress holding an AR-15 and wrap your arm around his ass. You know what I'm saying? Give him a big ass smooch on the cheek while you're at it. We support the Second Amendment. Yeah, you gotta, when somebody's talking shit, when somebody's saying that this is what you're on and you're not on that, you gotta prove otherwise. Otherwise, it looks like it's a silent cosign. Well, they just called you out and they said that you're this, and that way. And you didn't respond with anything substantial, so you must cosign. That's what you must believe. You must be in support of that. That's why when Rolling Stone and New York Times, they come out with this article talking about Donald Trump guns and white fragility and whatnot in the Rolling Stone, I'm like, I knew that was going to happen. And they're going to paint y'all as a bunch of white supremacists and neo-Nazis and everything else because y'all don't understand optics. Y'all don't understand optics. You know what I'm saying? Those two brothers that High Impact Videos put in his video, you know, that he interviewed and everything, he should have got their number. He should be like, hey, man, let me get your contact information. Da-da-da-da-da. We need you to come here. We need you to show up. We need to put you, you know, in the conversation and be very visible in the conversation. The left won't know what to do. They'll be like, holy shit, where they get these black guys from? Well, what's going on? No, all black people are supposed to be for gun control. These Negroes are supposed to stay on the plantation, goddammit. Who let them off the plantation? You see, we can't have a bunch of free-thinking blacks out here. Hell no. You know, and that's not to say that everybody on the left is just non-racist and they just love black people and, you know, I love black people so much I'm offering up my daughter. No, not like that, no. You know? But y'all got to play the game. You got to play the game, and y'all not playing the game. You got to get these people in front of the camera and say, hey, you know, the cameras are on. We over here. Again, people can sit there. They could argue with some fake shit. You see the left doing it. And like I said before, the left is smart. What does the left do? It gets the blacks. It gets the Muslims. It gets the women. It gets the youth. That's why you see David Hogg up there and March for Our Lives and shit. Where's the white youth? Every time I go to a gun event, gun rally, 95% of the population is middle-aged white males. The women are a minority. Black people are a minority. Jewish people are a minority. Freaking Muslims are most certainly a minority. You know, Hispanics are a minority. Latinos are a minority, right? You know, for the people that get sensitive about which term to use. You know what I'm saying? They you know, you don't see no Mexicans. You know what I mean? I mean, y'all don't know how to get Jose in front of the, you know, Jose, do you support the Second Amendment? Si, senor, si. You know, Jose, will you be out here supporting the next Second Amendment next month? Claro que sí, senor. Claro que sí. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, y'all don't do that. Y'all just allow all the typical talking points about who you are and whatnot as white conservatives. You know, this typical boxes that get checked off. You know, pro-gun, you know, pro-Second Amendment, you know, super fanatical on ISIS-type levels about white Jesus, pro-life, right? You hate abortion. What other conservative talking points? You don't believe in any social programs whatsoever. You know, super small government. Completely, you know, zero regulation, just no regulation at all, as though the freaking corporations aren't going to go out there and abuse shit, you know, just like you saw with the merger between Cabela's and whatever other company and Paul Sanger coming in there, you know, fucking up the shit in that town, basically collapsing in Nebraska because of that. You know what I'm saying? You know, that vulture capitalism, that's unregulation if you didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, y'all just don't. I mean, what's further non-regulation that you all bitch about? You know, the idea that you know, YouTube doesn't have to really respect free speech and it's not a public utility, and that you know, they can go and basically push all these apps on you that are progressive type of apps. You know, I saw that today. They had a notification about that. You know, download CNN app or whatever. All these progressive apps that they try to push. The way that the left basically, you know, Google, Amazon, what else? Google, Amazon. Because remember, Amazon basically took a lot of their gun shit offline. It only passes if it's labeled underneath airsoft, but they took all that off the line. Facebook, you know, Instagram, you know, all this stuff is based in California. It's all leftist shit, and they control, you know, social media, you know, and they doing whatever the fuck they want to do. And here you are talking about, you know, we believe in no regulation. We believe keeping government out of this, that, and the third. But notice, you know, how, you know, they basically have a monopoly on shit. You know, you believe in no regulation and everything, but yet you have Michael Bloomberg running around, throwing around billions of dollars, influencing politics. I mean, why don't we just say that American politics are run by who has the most money, right? It's not about, you know, who moves the people and everything. It's about who has the most money. So basically, with the start of Donald Trump, everybody after that, Donald Trump started the trend and the idea that, hey, if you want to be president, all you got to do is be a billionaire. Don't be surprised if you see Jeff Bezos running for presidency, you know, in the next 10 years or so. Don't be surprised. Hey, as long as you got enough money to throw around and flood the liberal airways with your propaganda, you'll win the presidency. You know what I'm saying? Like, this whole thing is like mind control. Like, it's basically China, but with just the illusion of freedom. That's what it is. You know, and it's like, I don't know why you guys don't get that. Everything requires nuance. If you are a liberal and you believe every tenet of liberalism, okay, I'm gonna look at you with a side eye. I'm gonna look at you like you don't have a brain. And if you're a conservative and you believe every single tenet of being a conservative, I'm going to look at you with a side eye. I'm going to look at you like you don't have a brain. You know, so it's like again, when we get back to all this Second Amendment stuff and what's going on, you got to be able to be intelligent enough to play the game. And this is not checkers. This is chess. You have to be able to anticipate the moves. And the moves are so obvious. I'm like, I mean, when I saw the shit on TV and I saw the photos afterwards and everything, you know, even the photos I used, you know what I'm saying? The photos I used, I'm like, a lot of white people in there. Like when you have that many white people, it does not matter that you got a black person here or a black person there, and then you want to call it diversified. That's bullshit, and you know it. It's bullshit. Richmond is a black city. Somebody corrected me. They said the majority of people in Richmond that live in the city limits of Richmond are black people. I said, oh, I didn't know that. But they said Richmond is a black city, like most cities on the East Coast. When you actually get into the heart of the city, it's black. That's why white racists love to throw around the term urban as coded language. What? For black people, because black people tend to live in urban environments until you get down there by the Bible Belt and you start talking about like parts of Mississippi and Alabama and whatnot. In Louisiana where you have, huge swaths of black people and black obesity and poor health and all that other stuff that goes on down there. So, it's like, what was I saying? It's like, I don't know, y'all not playing the game right. And I've been sitting on here begging forever for y'all to play the game right. Just like I begged, forever. One of the first videos I did was talking about, what is up with these gun channels that keep doing reviews on these exotic weapons? Are you a Second Amendment advocate or are you a gun enthusiast? Which one are you? Because gun enthusiasts, it's okay to sit there and do, a gun review on, the most expensive guns. There's nothing wrong with that. But, throw a Ruger Security 9 in there. You know what I'm saying? Throw a police trade-in, Glock 22. Throw in the Taurus G3, which is like a $200 gun. Throw in the Taurus G2. Throw in the EC9, the EC9 from Ruger, which is basically an LC9. You know what I mean? Throw that in there. Throw in the Walther Creed for $250 over there on CDNN Sports, right? Throw in the SD9 VE. Oh, we know, but the trigger's trash. Yeah, we know the trigger's trash. But for a lot of people, especially a lot of black people, that's what they can afford. And Quietus has kept a lot of white people. That's what they can afford. The only person that I've seen that actually took to that is the firearms guy. He's the only one that I've seen that actually was like, oh, like I suggested it, and then next thing you know, he started pumping out videos of affordable value guns, that are under, not just under $400. I keep hearing people say, they talk about under $400. No, under $300. Under $300. So I'm talking about guns that are priced at $200 all the way up to $250, and then you pay your like $20 or freaking transfer fee, or slightly more than that, and then they'll still have you at under $300. You can still get into a nice gun at like $289, and if you get into a nice gun at like, let's say like $320, like let's say you go and you buy the Janique TP9 SF, for $279, and then you pay your transfer fee and all that bullshit, and then next thing you know, you're still coming out of just over $300. Not bad. 18-round gun, not bad, right? 2 magazines, not bad. And it comes with a Serpa-style holster, not bad at all. AR-15s, y'all ain't talking about no Delton Force. You ain't talking about no M&P Sport 2, right? You ain't talking about no Davidson's Defense, or 22 guns. What is it? 22 mods for all, right? Which is another gun site where you can go and you can buy whole uppers, and go and buy the lowers and everything, and you can piece together an AR-15 for less than $400 You know what I'm saying? AIM Surplus, go and get the bolt carriers over there, or whatever other site you want to go to. You go and you buy the bolt carriers from there, and like y'all don't know, no, y'all don't do that. Y'all go and and I'm gonna tell you who's the guiltiest one. I'm gonna call him out. Military Arms Channel. He is the guiltiest son of a bitch when it comes to being a gun enthusiast and not a Second Amendment advocate. And then he has the audacity to sit around and make videos and then bitch about some impeding gun laws coming down the pipeline and everything else. And I'm like, well, maybe these things wouldn't be coming down the pipeline if you helped create more gun owners. Not to say that he hasn't created any, but I'm saying he's a real gun snob when it comes to a lot of these firearms. Like, he's like, oh, it's not value and everything else like that. Like he shit on the SAR, was it SAR 9? which is a Turkish-made gun. You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, do another review. Give it a second chance. It's a $253 gun, even though the price has been going up lately. But I'm saying when it first came out, it was like $250. And he shit all on it. And I'm like, well, guess what? You just turned a whole bunch away from people from buying that gun. You know what I mean? I'm saying, what do they got? What did he do with PSA? He called it the Mac Rack, and they went and they fixed the gun, and they put some in. He could have said, hey, the spring for the freaking SAR-9 is too damn heavy because we don't shoot NATO round 9mm. We shoot semi-spec 9mm. So you need to bring the spring down so that there's enough force for the slide going back to eject the damn round. And when the recoil happens, so that the spring is not, mitigating all of that, force so that the cartridge doesn't get spin out the damn chamber, right? Did he do that? No. He doodled on the gun, and then that was the end of that. Freaking who's the other guy? Hank Strange did that with the Diamondback DB9 SF, or is DB9? Was it not the DB9 SF? The DB9 FS with the full size. Right now they got the Diamondback AM2. You know what I mean? Again, Firearms Guy did a review on the Diamondback AM2, and I'm like, see, he's doing his job, but the rest of the gun community, y'all, a bunch of like either gun snobs, gun elitists. You're not trying to bring new people into the gun community. And I know this because, again, every time I go to these rallies, there's no young people, there's very few women, there's very few minorities. It's just a bunch of old white men that are like, it's my guns. All y'all care about is, this is why you have these internal battles in the community about FUDs versus, other shooters in the community. All I care about is my hunting rifle. All I care about is my wooden shotgun. All I care is my, over-under breech shotgun or whatever. I'm like, see? Y'all gotta do a better job. Y'all whole organization on stuff is really trash. Cause let's face it, most of the people that are doing most of the work are the voices on YouTube. Those are the people that are organizing and doing most of the work are the people in the YouTube gun community. And you could just go through the whole, Nothing Fancy, Such, freaking, Firearms Guy, Mr. Guns and Gear, Coleon Noir, Military Arms Channel, who else? Who's another person? Larry Vickers, even though he doesn't get political in it, but I'm saying he's bringing, awareness. You know what I'm saying? Again, I don't have any problem with people doing reviews on exotical guns that they think are great. I use the term exotical. I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, exotic guns, right? That they think are great. That's fine. But I'm saying throw some budget firearms in there. God damn it. You know what I'm saying? You got the damn XD9. You can find that online for like $288. The Ruger SR9. You can find that for like $250. These are the entry-level guns that turn gun owners into one-issue voters who will go out there and vote Republican because they don't like the idea of somebody coming in and saying, well, you can't have that even though you legally purchased and bought it. Y'all ain't doing that. Stop with the gun enthusiast nonsense and get with the Second Amendment advocate stuff, because again, that's what you're getting attacked on. That's what these people are coming down the pipeline with, all these crazy ass guns. And then again, to black people, I don't even know why you support any of these crazy ass gun laws. Where do you think they're going to implement red flag laws? What do you think they're going to implement? It'll be the same. It'll be 1960 all over again. Well, that black guy, he's talking too pro-blackity black, and we don't like what he's saying, and therefore he's a danger to himself and others, namely white people, and we believe that we need to confiscate his guns. So you end up with the situation of what? No due process, and then they're going to confiscate your guns, right? The other thing is, how are they going to confiscate your guns if there's no what? Registry. Right? If they don't know that you have any guns. Now, in states like New Jersey and states like New York, your shit's registered. Your handguns at least are registered. But when it comes to, other states, it's not registered. So when I hear the red flag laws, I'm like, so is the red flag law going to preempt? Is that shit going to preempt the whole aspect of again the police having to go and get a warrant because they don't even know where the guns are. So what they're going to do is they're going to use the red flag law to use the word of mouth of somebody saying, well, I think he has guns, and therefore then they're going to come into your home, unlawful search and seizure, circumvent the warrant, right, which is what the red flag law is going to allow them to do, to then search your home off of the word of somebody claiming that you have guns because they don't have a gun registry to really be certain that you have any guns. You see what I'm saying? Unless they put something in that red flag law to basically say that they get to go and then look, somehow, I don't know, at the microfilm, or whatever to figure out whether you have guns. But again, you would still need the serial number of the gun in order to do that. So I guess I'm back to registry issues. You see? What the hell just happened? I don't know what just happened. I don't mean to go off on a hold on, let me pause this because I think my video just cut off. Yeah, I don't know what happened. It's that damn freaking, that's this phone. All this shit where the phone like listens to you. It's just annoying. Anyway, especially when you're recording a video, because if you say certain keywords, like it prompts the phone to start doing its thing. But nah, y'all, I'm gonna say the number one thing that needs to happen in the gun community right now is you all need an outreach program. Plain and simple. You all need an outreach program. And I'm saying, if the Black Panthers or whoever tell you to go fuck yourself and everything, then say, hey, we called them, we invited them, we called them multiple times. We left messages on the answering machine and whatnot. But you need to be over there on some Forrest Gump shit, talking about, I'm sorry for busting up your Black Panther party. Like, that's what y'all need to be doing. Y'all need to be over there, freaking knocking on their door saying, hey, man, I know we don't agree, but if you don't come out here and show your face, then we both gonna lose guns. We both gonna lose our guns. You know what I mean? And it would probably help to say, hey, I'm not on that racist shit. I'm about the Second Amendment. I don't support the KKK or any of these other, white supremacists or anything else like that. I'm about the Second goddamn Amendment. And so, I'm saying, if you're going to make an appeal to the Black Panthers or having more black men come out, but I can tell you right now that they don't feel welcome at all. They don't feel welcome. Even regular black people don't feel welcome. I can go into and walk into these events because I'm motherfucking big. It takes a lot to intimidate my ass. You know what I mean? But other black folks, they're intimidated. They get in there and they feel like, man, I don't know, man, they looking at me, they sizing me up, they this, that, and the third. I know, because I did the interview with the black people at the gun show. They're very apprehensive about white. They're conscious about how white people feel about them. You know what I'm saying? You think black people just walk around like la 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 la. No, the fuck they don't. Black people walk around like, how is this white person going to perceive me? And if they perceive me the wrong way and they feel threatened, could that possibly lead up to me losing my life? Because that's how we've already seen situations like that. Black man crashes his car. He's a football player, goes, knocks on the door for help and shit like that, and gets killed. There was a black man on my lawn. I shot the nigger. That type of bullshit. You see? So why does this keep doing that? So it's not like, that black people's what they think and feel is unfounded. And you have to keep that in mind. Maybe some of you all don't care. Okay, you can care, you can not care your way all the way to confiscation. Because that's what's going to happen if you don't form Voltron with some people who are anything other than white. Did I say that right? If you don't link up with people who aren't white, that's what I meant to say. You need to link up with people who aren't white and put them on the front. We know that they're not going to be the majority of the people that are there. America is a majority white nation. 75% of the population is white. Okay? But I'm saying you need to at least get there to be at least 10% of the room needs to be black. That's what people expect to see. And especially in a city that's predominantly black. Like, I'm like, really? You could only find 2 black people that day. See, that tells me that there wasn't really a concerted effort on trying to get black people to come out that day. Y'all went out there. We're gonna confront the Capitol by ourselves. And what did the left do? The left said, oh, look. Just as we suspected, nobody out here but a bunch of middle-aged, disgruntled white men. We got them. Let's paint them all as racist and bigots. See, look, they don't even have any black friends. They don't have no black people they don't even associate with minorities and LGBT or anything else like that, because they're the bigots that we say that they are. And when you look at the cameras and when you look at the overwhelming majority of the photos, that's exactly what they see. They see a bunch of middle-aged white men out there. Here we go again with they see a bunch of middle-aged white men out there with their guns, and what did they say? Oh, they came down to the Capitol and they were trying to intimidate people, and oh my God, it was on Martin Luther King Day. Like the liberals with their fake white tears trying to pretend like they give a fuck about Martin Luther King. Oh, black people, see? They hate you. That's why they did it on a day that we are supposed to honor Dr. Martin Luther King. Oh. But see, y'all could have curbed that had you went out there and been like, we got black people out here on the day of Martin Luther King, and this has probably been something that Martin Luther King would have wanted, be it the fact that he was denied access to his Second Amendment rights when he went to go apply for it when his house got bombed. And y'all need to stop with that. Oh, well, it was the Democrats, because the Democrats of the 1950s and the 60s and the 40s and all before that were white male Southerners. So cut that bullshit out like it's a completely like as though the Democrats of today are the same as the Democrats of the past. The white Southerners did not move from the South all the way up to the North, and the Yankees moved from the North all the way down to the South to become Republicans. Cut that bullshit out. I keep seeing y'all do that intellectually dishonest bullshit. Okay? Many of you sitting in Virginia right now that are Republicans, your great-great-grandpappy was a Democrat. So stop that bullshit, that intellectually dishonest bullshit. Oh, and like trying to make the Democrats seem like they're this, like they weren't representative of people. Those same people that were trying to deny black people access to their rights and instill Jim Crow laws and all that other shit, they were Democrats. And they were white Southerners, and they were your grandfather and your great uncle and your great grandfather and all that shit. So cut the bullshit. Again, if you want black people to sit there and be like, oh, okay, they've turned a new leaf, then the first thing you got to do is be honest with yourself and be honest, with the situation. Don't be like CNN and the liberal news and jump up there and start, pulling shit out of your ass and, talking about fully semi-automatic, because that's exactly what it's like. When you up there, well, see, that was the Democrats and see the Republicans are the party of Lincoln. That is the equivalent of fully semi-automatic. It's intellectually dishonest. Is intellectually dishonest. The most openly racist people in America were the white men in the Deep South, during that period of time. They were the ones that were bombing people's houses. They were the ones that killed the freaking Freedom Riders and killed that Jewish, that I think Italian girl that was riding with them, and killed the Jewish guy that was riding with them and everything else like that. Go look it up. Some of the first people who died during the civil rights movement. So again, cut the bullshit. Cut the bullshit. The conversation is about the Second Amendment. Liberals want to take everybody's gun rights away because you got a bunch of crazed individuals that go out there on mass shootings, and then the left media always sensationalize it and makes the shit look like, hey, this is what you do if you're a fucking loser and your life sucks and whatnot and you want to get back at the world. Hey, be like this guy. Be a copycat killer. And they go up there and they keep using the person's name, and they talk about what his favorite sandwich was, and where he came from and where he went to school, and talk to his friends, for the next 3 months until the next mass shooting. Okay? They always do that. And the media bears no responsibility. And then they just use that to they instigate the mass shooting, and then they use that to further push the agenda of this is why we need gun control. So I'm like, y'all gotta play the game, man. You gotta recognize this is not checkers, this is chess. This is not friggin', running the football up the field. You got to throw them Hail Marys. And not only that, when the other team throws the Hail Mary, you got to catch that interception. You got to be calling out, the sort of the bullshit. Like when you see these laws where they're like, well, what we're going to do is we're going to raise fees. You know what that is? Yeah, that's to keep guns out of the hands of black people. We're going to raise the fees. I don't see a whole bunch of white people calling that shit out. They're like, well, as long as I can afford it. Yeah, but the black guys can't afford it. They live in poverty. You know they live in poverty. That's how the system of white supremacy works. It's not about racism or hating somebody. It's about the denial of access to resources. That's what it's always been about. Racism is not about hatred. Racism is about an in-group and an out-group, and it's about, black people being locked into the bottom rung of a real-life monopoly game. It is about wealth. We transfer wealth. That's why they created laws, to deny, to prevent miscegenation, as they called it. Mixing of the races, because they didn't want all these white slave masters that were running up in the slave quarters that couldn't keep their dick out of Lupita. Okay, they wanted to make sure that those half mixed kids, like you saw in freaking Django, with Big Daddy, right? You saw his little mixed son sitting up in the front. I know it was a movie, but I'm just saying, that's not a coincidence. Yeah, they was running up in them damn slaves. Your wife is 52 years old and you got a young 19-year-old slave. Yeah, what you think you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? And there's nobody to question you, nobody to say anything to you. Please. And that's how many of the first mixed people came to be. So they wanted to make sure that wealth, that white wealth, stayed in white hands. That's how white supremacy works. It's not about, oh, we hate you because of the color of your skin. It's about wealth and it's about power. And again, wealth, power, and political control go hand in hand. So again, we still got all the noise of racism and black people, versus the system of white supremacy going on in the background. Make no mistake about it. I am for my people. However, I do recognize that there's just some situations where it's like, okay, we got to form Voltron because they over here doing too much, there's the whole idea. Oh, Democrats. Oh, yeah, but black people will protect you. Oh, we'll don't worry. Be dependent on us, and we'll use the same police officers that we say are racist all the time. And we'll tell you that we'll get those police officers to protect you. Right? I'm sitting there as a black person, so let me get this right. So the officer that you just said was racist and gunned down this unarmed black guy, that's going to be the one that's going to be in charge or in control of my safety and my security? Oh, you got me fucked up. You got me fucked up. Oh, hell no. Hell no. You see? So again, it's like white men, y'all don't want to lose your guns. Black people, I'm like, y'all need to wake up. It's just that simple. Different reasons, same cause. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say. But yeah, I need to make it different. I need to make a second video because, the other one I was ranting too much. I get all charged and I go up 5 octaves in my voice and everything. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Again, on the gun issue, y'all need to reach out more. You need to diversify your ranks. Your ranks are not diverse. People sitting there and they talk about, diversity. I see y'all in the comment sections. Diversity is not a strength. Again, y'all need to tone down. Y'all need to check some of the bigoted comments that are in your comment section. I see a lot of that too. Y'all let racist comments slide. And again, there's a lot of pro Second Amendment black people. They be floating around the comments too. And they read that shit. And then you wonder why they don't want to come out to the rally because they know how you really feel about them. I'm like, damn, y'all not even smart enough not to say. I mean, this is like telling a bitch that you're trying to fuck that she ain't shit. Is that the smart move? What, you think you're going to get some pussy like that? You think you're going to get some pussy like that? So it's like, no. Y'all keep your mouth shut. You keep it focused on what it needs to be focused. We know we got some differences. And you move forward from there. But y'all need to pull in your ranks. Y'all need to reach across the aisle. Y'all need to I'm not saying that you gotta kiss a black person's ass and brown nose and all that other stuff, because I already know you're not gonna do that. But you do have to let them know that the door is not locked and you all are welcome, which you guys have not done. I don't care what you say. A token here, a token there, and whatnot, saying it. You know what I mean? I see Cam on the what is it? The Cam and Company show. His wife is black. So like it's like you don't count. You know, we know you're trying to bridge the gap. You know what I mean? But some of these other people, you know they don't really particularly care for black people, but I'm like, you need to get over that shit. Because if you don't get over that shit, you know, if you think that these white pro Second Amendment individuals are going to be able to single-handedly, defend the Second Amendment with just nothing but white males, and you ain't got no other voices in there, you're sadly mistaken. You're sadly mistaken. You know what I mean? You gotta let the people who have a long-standing history of being excluded from your ranks know that they are welcome. Know that they are welcome. Not just with tokenism. I'm talking about like groups. Like, damn, look at all the black people that's standing up there. Like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, whenever you see, like, I mean, even Donald Trump gets this. You notice how Donald Trump always has that random black person behind him at all his rallies. There is always, go ahead, find me a rally without one black person standing behind Donald Trump. They're like, you, black guy, come here. No. Stand right here. Stand right here. And he's got the big ass sign saying, you know, we blacks love Trump or some shit like that. That is strategic. And I'm like, I don't know why y'all don't do the same thing. I know it's not real. I know it's the okie doke. You know what I'm saying? But when you going up against the left and you know how they're going to come with these basic ass arguments, see, this is about white male fragility and they're the only ones that get to exercise the Second Amendment right. You know how you dismantle that shit? You put black people right at the fucking front. You know how you dismantle that shit? You put the LGBT, the rainbow colored motherfucker, you put him right in the front. You put your arms around him and you hold hands with him and we believe in God and country and the Second Amendment and blah, blah, blah. And you say all that crap that y'all love to say. Say all that. Do all that. I'm not telling you not to. I'm saying you're going to have to change the optics of what you're doing. It can't just be a bunch of middle-aged, gray-bearded, pot-belly white men and a bunch of freaking, ex-Marine Tier 1 operators and whatnot, who look like, they're fucking Sam Fisher after like Splinter Cell 10. Okay? Like, no, you got to do better than that. Anyway, that's all I got to say. That is my video. New Jersey gun laws out.